It's so funny that there's the possibility that our president could be impeached, and yet this story is the most fascinating thing I have today. Alright, so, hey guys, it's me, Gooseboost, and I just got rid of a ton of trash yesterday. And now that I feel funky, fresh, and fine, let's talk about Pewdiepie just like everyone else is. So this video is gonna get super buried, so if you're not one of my subscribers and you somehow found this video, then hi! Welcome to the obscure part of YouTube. Make sure to leave your dislike because my familiarity to you is frightening enough for you to not give me a chance. Asshole. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Pewdiepie. Dude's got like 53 million subscribers and I have about 0.01% of that amount. How fucking nuts is that? Moreover, how fucking nuts is it to see him being accused as an anti-Semite? The man who gave away millions of dollars to charities, some of which he sponsored, and some of which I've actually donated towards myself because of him. But then again, I'm pretty irresponsible with my money anyway, seeing as how I only have about 25 cents in my bank account. Not even a joke. I'm kind of ultra poor. At any rate, if you don't know the story, then I'll try to summarize the events that have occurred in the past few days in a timely fashion. It's still going to be a little lengthy though. So first, the Wall Street Journal posted an article directly claiming that Pewdiepie, aka Felix Kjellberg, or as some other people like to pronounce it, Felix is an anti-Semite, a racist, a fascist, a neo-Nazi, every single boogeyman word you can think of. In response to this, Disney's Maker Studios decided to sever its ties with Pewdiepie in a sort of knee-jerk reaction to the controversy. After all, if there is but an ounce of controversy that may lead up towards Disney, you can bet your ass they're gonna just throw that controversy out the street like a $2 hooker or Raven Simone. You can tell this was just a reactionary plan because if Maker Studios really did care about PewDiePie's so-called anti-Semite views, then they would have dropped him months ago when those videos came up originally. Instead, they're responding to a highly credible news source, one which millions of people read, and that's sort of the key word here, people, not just YouTubers. To the more casual audience, it would just seem like PewDiePie really is a Nazi, and yes, that includes people like J.K. Rowling's. And when people like her talk about PewDiePie being a fascist, then even more people believe her. She is, after all, a very influential figure, just like the Wall Street Journal is a very influential news site. This led to Maker Studios to be backed up to a corner like a scared little crab and ultimately decided to sever its arm off, in this case Pewdiepie, in order to feed the hungry, ravenous predators. The thing about a crab's arm, though, is that once severed, it can still pinch back. I think. I don't know. It really sounds like a super cool analogy until I got to that. So in response to all this, PewDiePie made a video, one that all of you should check out in the description below. In it, he apologized for some of the offensive jokes he made in the past relating to Nazis and whatever. And if you're curious as to what those jokes were, well, there was this one time he made a few Indian boys hold up a sign and said, "Death to all Jews, subscribe to Keemstar," while laughing and dancing, but nobody ever wants to mention that last part of the sentence. It's kind of funny how irrelevant that last part really is. Oh, and he also made some weirdo dressed as Jesus say, "Hitler did nothing wrong," all for $5. I thought it was pretty funny. Back to his response, PewDiePie said his sorries and also gave a big fuck you to the Washington Post for clearly trying to assassinate his career, which, hey, guess what? Not gonna happen. Now, I know everyone's got this PewDiePie story on lockdown. Everyone's got their own opinions and have their own videos on YouTube already all about it. And I'm one of the hundreds of thousands of people making a video on this topic, so I'm not sure I can add anything else that you probably haven't heard, but I do wish to share my thoughts on this regardless, because I want the exposure and the money. First off, I think it's very interesting to see the kind of discussions you see springing out of the woodwork because of this controversy. I mean, that's why I'm making a video on this in the first place. It's so fascinating, the response you'll see from everyone, really. For the most part, people here on YouTube have been defending PewDiePie. We all sort of know it was a joke because we've all seen the videos, and yes, for the most part, this crap was taken out of context. But of course, saying that this video he made, paying kids to shout death to all Jews and making Jesus say Hitler did nothing wrong, was in itself nothing but a joke, that is kind of a poor argument. Yes, in context, it's a joke. It's to show how outrageous it is, the lengths people will go for just $5. How a controversy can be bought for a measly $5 is actually astounding in its own right. And that helps solidify just how funny it is. However, there's no doubt that people would definitely get offended by this regardless. If they're getting offended for Jews or because they are Jewish themselves, this is a statement that incites a dark past and could be hurtful. And I think it's unfair to call these people butthurt because they get offended. People react differently, and while I think irrational reactions and overblown ones should be mocked, I feel like this is on the grounds of rationality. Like I said before, this is something I found very funny, and then I put myself in the shoes of those who are being poked fun at. Being a pure-blooded Mexican born on the soil of America, I don't think I'd be very fond of a joke of something along the lines of kill all Mexicans. I'm not going to hate PewDiePie because of it. I understand the context, and I feel the context itself is funnier than the actual act, but I would be a little peeved by the statement. So that's worth apologizing over, and I respect him for doing so. In fact, I think the entire video is respectable itself. As PewDiePie said, he's just one guy. There is no PR guy forcing him to say this shit. He decided to say what he wanted to say, and I felt he said it in a very calm and level-headed way. I also watched a lot of other people's response to PewDiePie's controversy, and while many of them do ring the same bells as one another, there's like an echo chamber of, oh, PewDiePie did nothing wrong. There was that one that somewhat poked my interest more, and that was the video Casey Neistat made. He stated that PewDiePie has a responsibility being the biggest YouTuber on the site and that he should be careful of his words, which is kind of outrageous to say the least. PewDiePie, I feel, does not need to play the role of a babysitter. He has no obligations to make everyone feel comfortable, and he also doesn't need to provide a safe space for everyone on his channel. The people who are subscribed to PewDiePie understand fully well that what he says on his videos and what jokes he makes, they're all just crazy shit he says sometimes. We all know what we're getting into when we subscribe to the people whose content we enjoy. Except for my audience, because I'm not really sure what I want to do with this channel yet. At any rate, saying that PewDiePie's jokes could offend some people and provoke feelings in his audience they may not want, it's kind of a no-brainer. Man's got over 50 million subscribers. Of course he's gonna offend at least one person per video he makes. Hell, I lose about a dozen subscribers for every video that I make. You don't see me making it to the front page of Wired, which, by the way, cool of you spineless bastards changed that title for your headline there. Way to stick to your guns. But that's the thing about YouTube. If you hate what the other person has to say or whatever, then just unsubscribe and ignore them. It's not like those words could harm you in the long run. You can be as outraged as you like, and you can express it in whatever way you want to, but don't expect that person to change what they do because you suddenly feel that that's not what you want anymore. And I feel as though Casey Neistat does not understand the bigger picture here. People weren't honestly offended by what PewDiePie did. I think there were a few, yes, that might have been offended by this, but a majority part, not really many people came out to say that PewDiePie's videos hurt them. It was the Washington Post and many other websites that decided to shit the bed over this and basically held people's emotions hostage. It was them, those articles, that built PewDiePie into this Nazi cartoon villain, when in reality many of us know he's just not like that. That's what's beautiful about YouTube, man. Lots of us might hate each other, but fuck off, we're still family, you know? We know what people do and don't, and we call out when media is pushing one of our boys down and trying to make him seem what he's really not. I don't know why I'm saying we. It's not like I've done shit for the community. But lots of people planted themselves down and defended Felix and called out the bullshit that was spewed. It's true what PewDiePie says. The press and most media is scared of YouTube and other content on the web. They don't understand it, yet they understand it's something so much larger than them. So what do? They try to bring it down, with every attempt being more futile than the last, and every shot to the foot hurting even more. In the end, though, it's really nothing more than a small pebble on the road. YouTube is evolving rapidly, and even though they pride themselves as high-quality content, they're no different than the media. By canceling PewDiePie's show, it really shows the world just how YouTube wants to be portrayed, how they want to be like the big boys, how they don't want some racist Nazi hate-speaking motherfucker on their platform, but they'll totally still make more money off of that first season though. Also, can we just acknowledge the fact that a substantial amount of people who worked on that show are now out of a job? Oh yeah, that's real cool, YouTube. You feel like a big boy producer now? Yeah? In conclusion, guys, I don't know. I don't know if there is a conclusion to this. I don't think there is. The media is constantly going to attack content creators, and they're always going to make themselves out to be like the heroes, the savants, while the YouTubers or any other content creator to be like villains or racists or misogynists or losers who just play video games all the time. We've seen this song and dance before. People have made fun of Let's Players. People have made fun of PewDiePie. And all in all, it's like watching a scared rabbit trying to distract the hungry wolf from the inevitable. That rabbit's gonna get eaten by the wolf someday. Unless, of course, that rabbit disguises itself as a wolf. Am I right? Late night talk show host. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. I'm just, I don't know. The topic was super cool to talk about, but actually talking about it was just kind of depressing and somewhat tiring. I hope you guys enjoyed it all the same. Thank you all so very much for watching. I will see you all next time. I love y'all. Bye.